The state of California passed a law to prevent any city in California from requiring voter ID. They were effectively targeting one city, Huntington Beach, California, that had passed a local measure allowing officials to require voter identification at the polls. It's become a legal showdown, and now Huntington Beach, it seems, just beat the state of California in court. In a state with a population of close to 40 million people, the Orange County Superior Court judge's ruling clears the way, it seems, for the majority Republican city of 200,000 to be one of the only cities in the state to require voter IDs. Huntington Beach had passed a ballot measure to allow ID requirements in municipal elections starting in 2026. It didn't even apply to this past election. But in a liberal state like California, this didn't sit well. This was the state's reaction.
We sent a letter to the city of Huntington Beach making it very clear our view, our analysis, our position that this proposal is illegal. And should they put it on the ballot and should it pass, which it has now, we would take appropriate action.
Well, and they did take action. You can decide if it's appropriate. But I've said, look, that I think voter ID makes a lot of sense. The ruling found that the measure that was passed in Huntington Beach did not violate California law, but it might not be over. The state attorney general, Bonta, released a statement reading in part, the decision does not address the merits of the case. We continue to believe that Huntington Beach's voter ID policy clearly conflicts with state law and will respond appropriately in court. Joining me now is Michael Gates. He's the city attorney for Huntington Beach, California, where he successfully had the state of California's lawsuit rejected in Superior Court. Thank you very much for coming back on the program. Appreciate it. All right, so I don't quite understand what's the state's position here that this isn't over and the judge hasn't addressed the merits of the case. What is their argument?
So as you indicated, in April of this year, the state sued Huntington Beach to really stop our voter ID law from going into effect entirely. And we had hearings in court, we argued, and basically the court decided that it does not see a conflict, at least yet, a conflict between the city's voter ID law and the state law. And so that's completely contrary to everything that Bonta was saying at his press conference. That's completely contrary to everything that they said in the lawsuit. I think what's going to happen is the state may refile or they may go and file an appeal. But at the end of the day, the court already heard everything that the state had to say about the state law and how voter ID law here in Huntington Beach is illegal. And the court disagreed. So it is a win for the city, at least in this first round. We anticipate many rounds coming, but we're going to continue fighting. You know, this all started back when about a year ago or more than a year ago, when our council was considering putting it on the ballot and putting it to voters. And Trump actually picked up on this and commented publicly about Huntington Beach's boldness and common sense about putting voter ID on the ballot. So
I'm confused. So how can it not be contrary, right? So the state law says that you can't do it, right? You can't ask for voter IDs in the state. And your city ordinance says we can ask for voter IDs. How does it not conflict?
Well, I think what the court is doing is it's saying at this point, the way the voter ID law is written in Huntington Beach, and at this point, the way the state law is written at the state level, there is no conflict. I think what the court's reserving is the opportunity that once the voter ID program is implemented in Huntington Beach, the state could then come in and say, hey, this is discriminatory, or they could start to pick it apart. But at the end of the day, the state made a very full, broad argument about the illegality of the voter ID law here in Huntington Beach, and the court disagreed. The state was insistent, and Bonta, in his latest press release, acknowledged that the court ruling was decidedly against him. It was a rebuke of his position and everything he espoused at the press conference, and so he's going to keep fighting, but we're going to keep fighting too. We're not rolling over. We're not intimidated. We're not going to be deterred. We're going to fight for this, and I think it's going to be pretty clear we're going to win.
All right, we shall see. fascinating case, Michael Gates. It seems to me that at least you won round one, no matter how you view it. Thanks for coming back. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.